Hello everybody, my name is Chris, and welcome back to more Horizon Forbidden West. Now in the last couple episodes, we've been out west. Further west. The farthest west, really. Episode before last, we did Ted Pharaoh's tomb, which was a hell of an experience. That was crazy. Seeing all that, realizing that Ted remained to be Ted until the very end. He just was himself, to nobody's surprise, right? He was selfish, egotistical, crazy. He was working on he was literally working on like some sort of serum, I guess, some sort of he was getting a series of injections, treatments in order for him to live forever. That was the whole plan. He was locked in that bunker, and the entire time was dedicated to making him live forever, with the sole purpose of him being able to greet the new generation of people, and claiming that they need his help. They'll need his knowledge and everything. And it's like, no, we were pretty good without it, actually. In fact, we probably were better off without that. And then we activated the tall neck out there, which took a little bit of time, but it was kind of cool. We had to repair it, which I like that every tall neck, and I said it before, in this game so far, like every tall neck has been a little bit different. It's not just getting there, you know. It's cool. But right now we are getting ready to take on HAEPHESTUS, but things have gotten complicated. He's also gotten stronger, and so it's gonna take us it was gonna take us like 35 hours to completely transfer HAEPHESTUS into Gaia, which is like, that's not great, especially because the far zeniths will totally sense that. So basically the plan is we're gonna give Beta Omega access, just like we have, and then we're both going to go there together and push HAEPHESTUS, and that brings it down to basically 4.5 hours. So really good time. And then we have this whole plan with like decoys around other cauldrons. So it's a whole thing. We have a plan, and we're gonna get to that plan today. But before we head out, we gotta talk to the gang. You know, we gotta talk to everybody. One thing for sure, where is Alva? Alva is here somewhere. Alva. She's part of our team now.
Refers to a fruit called pineapple. Huh.
Indeed. Pineapple. Very popular fruit. A delicious fruit.
Right to work, I see.
There's just so much. I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing! And you, a true reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the, late CO. And there's more ancestors out there, returned from beyond the stars. Of course, they're trying to kill us, which is not great. And Eric Visser is with them, which is disturbing. And then there's HAEPHESTUS, and...
Okay. How about
I love
we
it.
take it one step at a time?
You're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened at Landfall.
Sure.
And if you have a moment, there's something I could use your help with.
Nice. I love how she is so giddy over just all of the information she can now actually access and learn and read and everything without the restriction of her older model focus. It's great. It's great. I love it. She's genuinely an actually like a really good, enjoyable character. She talks a lot, but not one of those annoying characters that they write that just incessantly they talk for the sake of talking a lot, you know? Alva's... I like Alva. Alva's great.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how diviners analyze the legacy. That is, whatever part of it the overseers would actually let us study.
See, that's the thing. These overseers, and them letting you, like, I don't know, it's too restrictive. Because you have access to all this knowledge, and they decide what you can and can't. Which I find to be completely ridiculous.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A diviner has never had this sort of unsupervised access to archives such as this. And knowing you, I suspect there is much that would normally be forbidden held within them. But I was sent here to help you. I would be remiss to ignore any truth laid before me. Maybe it'll help the Quen find their way back to the path of truth.
We can only hope so.
Any more data catch your eye?
All of it? I have so much to study up on. Years, actually. I'm particularly interested in the Odyssey. We knew the ancestors had made it to the moon. In fact, we theorized some of them had settled on it. But Sirius is way farther than that. And we thought journeying across the ocean would be the feat of a lifetime. The sheer calculations needed for space travel, it's overwhelming to think about.
Even so, the Quen are way ahead of other tribes when it comes to understanding this stuff. Where I
Yeah.
grew up, everyone thought that stars were sparks that rose from a fire lit by the goddess to guide us through the night.
Yeah, I guess, you know. Yeah, even as kind of crazy as I feel like the Quen are, because they're a little bit much, they really are ahead as far as, like, actually looking into this, like, reading it. The fact that they have focuses in general, like, no other tribe even, yeah, not even close. Like, the fact that, I mean, even the Nora feared all this stuff. Like, they avoided it horribly.
You mentioned Eric Visser? How do you know about him?
The Zenith who tried to kill you?
Oh, yeah.
He is known to the Quen as the Protector. Combing through data related to his work led us to breakthroughs related to weapons and military tactics. Knowledge our rulers used to conquer and expand, to become the empire we are today. That's why he's one of our most revered ancestors.
Oh, shit.
But based on your encounter with him, it appears he's even more ruthless than we ever imagined. Yet another distorted interpretation in the legacy.
Well, at least you're piecing together the truth.
If only the overseers back home would do the same.
Beta mentioned other Zeniths. Tilda, Verbena, and Gerard.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Whatever
curious.
legacy they left behind, the diviners haven't recovered.
So you know about Eric, but you don't know about anyone else. Eric made a hell of an impression. I know we're gonna throw down with him again. I just know it. And he's gonna get it.
Must be strange to think that some of the ancestors your tribe reveres are still alive. And here on Earth, right now.
Yeah, it is. Part of me's curious to know who else besides Eric Visser might be among them. Maybe Nikita Arand? We call her the Spark. The legacy tells us she brought unlimited energy to the old ones. Or Sung Jiao, whom we call the Healer. It is said she found new ways to extend the ancestors' lifespans. But my curiosity fades when I think of how different our view of Visser was compared to the reality that you experienced. Perhaps it is better not to know.
Wait a second. If she was able to increase lifespans, and she actually succeeded, then that would explain why those zeniths are alive. The original zeniths. Huh.
I imagine you don't know anyone here that well yet, but they're a good group.
It's funny because one of your friends is, well, another you.
Yeah, that's
Not
weird.
that you are the same person at all. I mean, you are, as in, you're both genetically Elizabeth Sobeck, but even so, you're different.
We grew up very differently. But sometimes different is good.
Yes, of course.
Still, I mean, yeah. It really shows a difference in upbringing, or how upbringing does make an impact on your development as a person. You know, the fact that we got to see Rost, even though it was just a hologram, doesn't matter. We got a new model. They gave us a new model of Rost. We got to see him, the man himself. Oh God, so cool.
I hope everyone's been treating you okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. They've all been extremely welcoming. And they share the knowledge they learn on their focuses with each other freely. It's refreshing. Back home, diviners can only share data with the permission from the overseers.
Sounds restrictive and stifling.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous.
Have you spoken with Zoe at all?
A little bit, but I did hear her singing with Varl not too long ago. I don't think they noticed. Zoe seemed so free when she did it. Like every emotion she had was taking flight in song. And she looked happier because of it. I felt so dull and nervous in comparison.
You should ask Zoe to teach you sometime. About Utaru music.
Maybe.
This is nice. Everyone here is so wholesome.
If you need anything before heading out to the cauldrons.
You have nothing to worry about. Gaia's explained your plan in detail, as expected from such an efficient AI. I've even received some very, succinct combat advice from Kotallo. You know?
Great.
In case the Zeniths show up.
What kind of advice?
Please.
He, told me to run.
Enough.
That's great.
We'll even the odds soon enough.
That's funny. It's like, oh, what's the advice? Run. They show up, get out of here. Oh man, we're gonna learn so much from. There's a lot of. Whoa.
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning with the CO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Faro, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Faro, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Faro spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor.
Oh shit.
Dozens of ships were built,
Jeez.
scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named Sio, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire, the living embodiment of Ted Faro, a renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
That makes the whole thing in Pharaoh's tomb, like, with the CO, ridiculous. Like, the guy he was all ego. It was all him, right? He considered himself to be like Ted Pharaoh reborn, basically. And so just knowing the tribe put so much into the journey, like the ships, the people, the scouting parties, all the resources, just for this guy to get in there and basically just look for what, like some sort of like self-validation, you know? Like, yeah, I get it, like they were there and the mission was like find something to heal the land and help things, but just from the way he was acting in there, it didn't seem like he was worried about that. He didn't care. He just wanted to be as much Ted Pharaoh as he could.
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
It's the sea.
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse. But nothing improved the CEO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door. And more convinced that the title of CEO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
Seemed like it.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
The Quen are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CO became was a complete perversion of what principal diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
Same. I agree. It's good for everybody that he's gone. Like, yeah, he dude was nuts. Yeah.
So, Bohai, your overseer. Will he run things better than CEO?
He won't execute people on a whim, if that's what you mean. But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right.
Oh boy. What an interesting tribe you guys are. Yeah, when we tried to leave, he had actually no, when we refused to put on the Elizabeth Sobek outfit because he believed it was some sort, the whole ridiculousness. By us refusing to put it on, he literally he had his people aim bows at Alva and us for just being like, no, we're not going to wear that. We're still going to go in, but we're not going to wear that. And he's like, no, you're going to wear it, or I'll kill you. And it's like, oh, great. What a guy.
The ancestors, is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CEO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant.
Wow.
That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
Incredibly. So they really had no idea that Elizabeth Sobek is the reason that everyone is even alive right now. Pretty much. I mean, it was a group effort, obviously, but still, she like headed the whole thing. Wow.
Back at the greenhouse, you spoke of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy, and many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire.
Of course.
Like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why Diviners are only allowed to access segments of the legacy. Only Overseers can view it all. It ensures that any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to Diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
Probably for the best. I'd probably paint a target that you don't want. It's like, oh, what if I did? They're like, oh, we'll kill you. Oh, cool. Good thing I'm not going to do that then. Then they're watching you forever.
You mentioned the reason you came here was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners. Peasants, really. When I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family.
Oh.
Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
That sounds harsh.
Like the focuses we keep, Diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that.
Yeah. That's wild. I doubt we'll see it in this game, but it would be cool if in a future game or something we did see the Quen Empire. Because calling it an empire is a pretty big deal compared to just being a tribe, right? Like, an empire. But then their entire empire is like technologically outdated. So it'd probably be it'd be really weird and interesting.
You mentioned there was something you needed help with?
Yes. So as I was sifting through data from the greenhouse, I found references to an old world system back in the Great Delta. It's called Leviathan. My people discovered it decades ago. A sprawling network of river gates and a labyrinth of underground tunnels. The legacy revealed that the old ones used it to control flooding.
Oh.
But we've never gotten it to work. The whole thing is shut down. But the data from the greenhouse mentions the research facility where Leviathan was created. It's in San Francisco.
Yo.
Another Pharaoh facility?
No. Leviathan was a project by Eileen Sasaki, another ancestor. So the legacy tells us, anyway, if we can acquire that data, we might be able to fix the system back in the Great Delta. Every year, my sister gets terrified when the long rains begin. With Leviathan, maybe she won't have to be.
Okay. So, where in San Francisco is this facility?
That's the thing. The data doesn't say where, exactly. But one of our diviners has been exploring the ruins. He might know. Would you come with me? I have a feeling that wherever this facility is, well, you're much better at fighting machines than I am.
Of course. I'll let you know when I'm in landfall.
Thank you, Aloy.
Great. Great.
I should go.
Of course. Before you do, is everything all right? It sounded like there was an issue with Beta and the mission.
Not anymore. We just needed to talk some things through.
To understand one another is to embrace truth.
See.
And, like I said, I'll let you know when I'm in landfall. We'll find the data you're after.
I appreciate it.
Like, I know that was a lot. That was like a whole. That was a lore. That was a lore. Just a lore dump right there. Just so much. It was great though. Love it. We gotta talk to everybody else before we move on.
Hey, we'll be going after Hephaestus soon. You good with the plan?
I've already got the location of my assigned cauldron.
Good.
I heard you and Beta had a talk.
News travels fast.
It wasn't exactly a quiet conversation.
I was gonna say,
They
like,
were just things that needed to be said.
A healthy crop to those who clear the weeds between them, as the Utaru say.
everyone's got a saying for that. It's great.
You look like you have something on your mind.
We're going to war soon. And war is something I promised myself I'd left behind in the Red Raids. But the more of your data I go through, every voice I hear, every word I read from her ancient past, it makes me realize just how much life was given so that ours could flourish. Fighting for that gift, it's our responsibility. If we fail, it was all for naught.
Helps to know you're not alone.
For a moment there, you sounded like Varl.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know which.
It looked like you were working on something over there.
With Gaia now growing in strength, I've been trying to find a way to heal the land gods, even if some people think I should give up on them.
Already said I was sorry.
Your friend thought it'd be a good idea to replace the land gods with new machines when Gaia recovers.
It wasn't.
The land gods have taken care of our people for generations. They are not some broken toy to be thrown away. Even if they are just machines doing their job, to abandon them in their time of suffering seems cruel.
I'm sure Varl understands that too.
He does now. I had to get pretty mad at him at first, though.
Oh,
You
that's
know I
funny.
can hear you guys, right?
Varl. Oh my god. He does now. He gets it.
Read anything interesting lately?
I found out the old ones use leaf infusions like the Utaru do. Tea, they call it. Apparently it helped soothe them. That and some sort of scented wax they used to cleanse their aura. Plus something called bubble baths. Me, I think I'll stick to singing to calm the nerves.
Something. A bubble bath. What is that?
Varl looks pretty focused.
He's been obsessing over the data revealed to us by Poseidon. Just the other day, we read about mountains hiding deep underwater that spew fire. If I understand correctly, Gaia said the flames they release come from the very center of the earth.
Yep.
Like a heart, beating with the life of the world. As always, the cycle can be found in even the most unlikely of places. Of course, Varl's mostly interested in watching explosions happen underwater.
Both of these are cool things. Explosions underwater are very cool to watch. But also, it is crazy when you think about it. Like, yeah, just the... Yeah. The core of the earth. That's where it all that's where all those come from. And then that creates rocks and creates land and creates islands and creates everything.
I assume you've
Wild.
been looking into Demeter now that Gaia's merged with it?
Yes, it's been humbling to know that the seeds I carry in this pouch came in turn from the seeds saved for Demeter in the old world. It gives me hope that the cycle of life will prevail now, just as it did before.
Have you met our new Quen guest yet?
I could barely keep up as she gave herself a tour of the base. Varl gave her a new focus. Though when he told her she was free to access all the data we have here, she turned so pale I thought she'd faint on the spot. We showed her to the archive room so she could see for herself. She hasn't left the place since.
That sounds like Alva.
Yep, just been in there the whole time.
You ever play that board game Aaron set up?
Strike? I'm the one who gave it to him. I was hoping it'd distract him enough to spare us that ruckus he calls death metal. No such luck.
No such luck. He just plays it more.
You and Varl doing okay? Training, I mean.
We're doing fine. Although I admit it'd be nice to take a small break from studying, just the two of us. But then who'd look after Erend?
Well, there's
Oh my
always
God.
Kotallo.
Oh
Leave
boy.
allowed Ossaram with a brooding Tenakth. What could go wrong?
That's great.
How
Love
are
it.
things with everyone?
Slightly quieter. Aaron's been busy scouring data on his newest obsession. Apparently the old ones wrestled machines as some kind of performance. Called it metal versus meat. A must-see battle between steel and flesh, as Aaron likes to put it. You'd think we have enough of that going around as it is.
Metal versus meat.
I should go.
As soon as you intend to leave for Gemini,
You'll hear about it.
That sounds just... That sounds awful. I mean, it's probably pretty crazy. But... Oh. Is this a real one?
Well, now I know where metal flowers come from. Last-ditch effort to stop the Pharaoh plague. Demeter must have started distributing them after it took refuge in the greenhouse.
I wouldn't have taught you the song if I didn't like the way you sing it.
So you like hearing me butcher Utaru music?
I sure don't. You sound like a dying long leg.
God damn it. I love these guys. I love that. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, like... It's like we can't open it, right? Yeah. Cool. Yep. The last-ditch effort to stop the plague was basically to create these flowers that created
That can't be real.
like plants and nature that were not consumable by the machines. That was the idea. Problem is, it was impossible to distribute fast enough to actually combat the swarm at the rate that the swarm was going. Oy. Okay, got two more of our buddies to talk to. Well, actually, no. We also have Kotallo. Got to talk to Kotallo too, and then
I see.
we're going
Hey,
on the
look.
mission.
Everything okay with you and Beta? It sounded like you guys had a lively conversation.
We just had a lot to talk about.
Everyone heard.
Does this mean she's coming with us to Gemini?
It does. I hope you're ready to rein in the most stubborn AI of all time.
That's what all this was for, wasn't it?
Hephaestus won't go down quietly.
Hephaestus is just a program that's lost its way. We are fighting for our survival. I can always call upon the goddess if you're nervous.
Funny.
Uh,
Any last
great.
findings you want to share before leaving?
Not really. Though I've reached a decision.
Oh?
When we put Gaia together, I want to return to the Nora, spread what I've learned.
You think they'll listen to you?
In time, I believe so.
If anyone can make it happen, it's you, Varl.
that'd be impressive. If he could actually get the Nora to like believe this and listen and take it in, it would really change that tribe completely.
This mission isn't going to be easy. Hope you haven't been slacking off on your training.
And risk Zoe coming after me? I value my life. At least you found the Omega clearance. That should help.
Wish that was the only thing I found. I knew finding Thebes would lead me to Ted Pharaoh, but I never imagined he'd end up like he did.
How bad was it?
Bad.
He destroyed the world and crawled into a hole after killing those who saved it. If you ask me, he deserved whatever he got.
That he did.
True. I just can't believe he was actually alive, technically. Like, on a technical level. Was he actually, like... Was he living? No. Was he alive? Yes. But, yeah. The fucking piece of shit. Killed all the alphas, who all worked their asses off to the end to save the world. He then killed them in a room together, and then ran off to hide in his own hole to try to live forever. and come out the other side. Just,
So, you and Zoe got into a bit of a fight, huh? Should have known better than to suggest Hephaestus could make new land gods to replace the old ones in Plainsong.
The last thing I wanted to do was dismiss their traditions. But I was trying to look at things differently. More like you know? To see a machine as just a machine.
Yeah, I guess I led you into trouble there, didn't I?
Not your fault. Don't worry.
Looks like things between you and Zoe are better now.
I suffered through a few hours of glaring silence. Then she seemed to move on. Sort of.
Sort of.
How do people do this? How do I know if the next thing I say won't blow up in my face? What if an apology is not enough next time?
You give her a stuffed animal?
You're the worst. You know that?
What makes you think I know anything about any of this? You're on your own.
Abandoning me again, huh? Well, if she kills me next time, it's on you.
It's on you. Great.
Once Gaia
Love
is
it.
back up and running, I expect you to put all your training to good use.
The seeds have been planted. All they need is a chance to bloom.
That sounds like
What?
such a... Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. Zoe liked it.
I'm glad you and Zoe found each other.
Don't forget, you're to blame for that.
Yeah, it is our fault. Regret nothing, but it is our fault.
What will you and Zoe do if you go back to the Embrace?
I hope she'll come with me. At least for a while. And I'll go with her to Plainsong too. She'll probably want to talk to her people about all this as well. We'll figure it out.
I know you will.
All right. So his training is going well. Aside from the tension between he keeps creating with Zoe.
How does everyone seem to you?
Anxious, but ready. I heard Kotallo ask for Alva's help with his pulse generator. And I know he's been helping her with a few fighting techniques, just in case.
I
Hey,
hope they aren't needed.
Like I said, just in case.
Kotallo's a real dude.
I hope firing off those pulse generators will be enough to distract the Zeniths.
It'll work. It has to.
Always optimistic, huh?
Nah, just stubborn. It's a good quality to have when dealing with you.
Ah,
Yeah, right.
He's like our best friend, really.
You were right, you know, about keeping Rost's memories buried. I guess part of me thought he was holding me back, because he wanted me to be a Nora. But the truth is, he gave me a lot. And I took him for granted.
He was a good man. He raised you well.
Damn right.
I'm glad you're coming with me, Varl.
Sure there's no urge to run off alone in there somewhere?
No more running.
No more running. I'm glad. I'm glad because the beginning, a lot of this, she was constantly pushing everybody away to do it all on her own, trying to muscle through it all because she's got to be the one to do it. And now she's like actually embracing having all of them together. It's great. I love it.
Hey, I thought I'd check in before leaving for Gemini.
Are you sure we shouldn't be checking up on you? I mean, whatever went on between you and Beta sounded intense. Not that I'm judging. Forge knows all the screws flew loose every time Mercer and I fought.
I think we'll be fine from now on.
I'm glad to hear it.
You look tired.
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
Oh,
You'll
come
do
on.
fine, Errand.
You're no screw up. You're great.
After we get Hephaestus, we'll be taking the fight to the Zeniths. So, no more reading.
It wasn't that bad. Not really. Besides, going through all that data helped me realize something. You know, the soldiers, the ones that fought the Pharaoh machines so Gaia could be built, they were fighting a battle that couldn't be won. Not with all the weapons in the world. I think most of them realized that, whether anyone said it or not. They still did it, though. They bought time for all the eggheads working to save the future. Our future. As long as I can do that for you, I'll consider myself a success.
Thank you, Erend. I'm glad you're with me.
Okay, enough. I'm gonna get emotional.
Stop it. Come on.
Bet you're used to that focus by now.
Well, I can hit machines in their weak points. I guess that's something. I wish all the other data was as easy to deal with. Now, to be honest, it's hard to understand half of what's on there. And then the other half reminds me, this isn't a fight you can win by just waving a hammer. Which is kind of what I do.
Kind of my thing.
But hey, that just means I gotta study harder. Now, make myself useful.
Just give it time.
I mean, it's a lot to take in all of a sudden.
You've been looking at any interesting data?
I asked Gaia to find me something to look at a while back, and she found the mother of all forges. They called it sports.
Oh my god.
Turns out the old ones spent a lot of time tackling and punching each other for points in one game or another. Are you mixing some solid food and fresh ale? I bet half the claim will be lining up to watch.
Probably. That's so funny. He found sports. He's like, oh, there it is.
What else have you been studying with your focus?
Yeah, I've been looking into this Vegas place you found. Gaia showed us everything that happened when you went to get that Poseidon thing. I mean, this Moreland guy seems pretty smart. Though, risking the Tanakh clan lands for a light show is a bold move.
True.
Maybe I should check up on them at some point. Just in case.
Right.
We probably should. We probably should swing out there and just see what's going on.
Anything happen I should know about?
Zoe asked us to help her bring more plants in here. Not for eating, apparently. Yeah, if you ask me, place is fine as it is. You know, metal might be plain, but it's sturdy. Nothing wrong with that. Who needs a bunch of vegetation?
I mean, get the vegetables out of here.
How are things with Kotallo? You still scared of him?
Oh, she thinks she's funny. Actually, I played strike with him. I had to fill in most of the conversation myself, but I'm still alive.
But I'm
Glad to
still...
hear it.
But I lived.
Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale.
It's great.
She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
Anybody take you up on that ale you brought yet?
Zoe can't stand the smell of it. I tried Alva, but I don't think she knows what taking a break means. And I'm not putting Varl anywhere near that stuff after that victory party in Meridian.
Oh my god.
What about Kotallo?
Now there's a man that can hold his liquor. Pretty sure we downed half a keg. We had a good chat, I think.
So Steve, that's great. Look at that.
I should go.
They're getting along.
That same here. I got a date with a cauldron to prepare for.
Hell yeah, everyone's getting ready. Kotallo, my man. Oh god, it's been a minute.
Aloy, are you well?
Had a bit of an issue with Beta. It's better now, though.
Ah, I'm not surprised.
Really? Why not?
I once knew a warrior who discovered he had a brother late in life. It was deeply uncomfortable for him.
Did he ever get over it?
In time. But not before the two siblings nearly killed each other in a single combat challenge.
Ah. Well, at least I avoided that.
For now.
There is something I've been meaning to discuss with you. It's personal. If you have a moment to spare.
I have an isolated amount of time to spare with you. I've set aside as much time as necessary, just for you.
Anything interesting happen while I was away?
I found an acceptable place to practice with my blade.
Oh, and where's that?
Outside, above the base. There's a nest of sunwings that are always up for a fight.
Ever thought of sparring with something that's not trying to kill you?
That would defeat the purpose of the training.
He's right though. If, yeah. If you're not fighting something that's trying to hurt you, are you really training?
Found anything interesting during your training?
Gaia told me where to find data on how wars were waged in the old world. I knew the Ten fought against machines, much as we do now, but it seems they were among the last of their kind. Later, machines battled other machines on behalf of greedy leaders, as they vied for lands and spoils. At least the Tenakth have the courage to put their lives on the line when conflicts arise.
There is nobility in that. But maybe we just need fewer conflicts in the first place.
Yes, of course. Hikaru would have it so as well.
How are your studies going?
I wanted to learn more about the world of the Old Ones.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh Gaia said you went looking for.
Oh boy.
And learned about the plague of machines he unleashed. To think that the ancient world was wiped out by a mistake. A single miscalculation. There is no glory or honor in such a fate. Only hubris. And pointless death.
That about sums it up.
Your hubris. Your arrogance.
Think you're ready to put all your training to the test?
I am Tenakth. I am always ready.
Hell yeah. God, I love this dude.
What have you been up to?
Just
Varl has asked to learn the differences between my people's clans, so I've been teaching him Tenakth history. It is heavy with blood and death, but also with honorable deeds and vanquished tyrants. Maybe you'd like to hear about it as well, when our mission is done.
I'd be honored.
I agree. That'd be great.
What do Tenakth do to relax? To take a break from training.
We play strike. Your Oseram friend, Erend, is surprisingly good at it, although he has yet to beat me. It helps one think strategically, hones the mind for tactics.
Somehow that still sounds like training.
It's fun training, side training, diet
Have you
training.
spoken with Alva?
The Quen is peculiar. Nothing like a Tenakth. Her mind is sharp, that much is certain. But it's hard to imagine her surviving in the wilds.
Trust me, she's tougher than she looks.
I will take your word for it.
Hell yeah.
Are you nervous about the mission ahead?
If I live, it will be in victory. If I die, it will be in battle. What matters most is that you achieve your objective.
I'll do my best.
I don't like the idea of any of them dying. Y'all need to stop it. I will riot.
You said there was something you wanted to talk about?
I've been speaking with Gaia. She mentioned that the Zeniths bind metal with flesh to make themselves stronger. I was wondering if you'd help me do the same.
You want to make yourself a new arm?
Yes.
Oh.
Gaia insists she can help me build such a thing if I can get the necessary data and materials. She believes these things lie in the place where Beta hid from the Zeniths.
Their ancient research lab.
I am not as familiar with old world machinery as you are. I could use your assistance.
It might be dangerous. The Zeniths probably still keep an eye on that place. We were lucky to get out of there alive the first time.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It sounds like this is worth the risk.
By the 10, we shall see it through.
By the 10.
I should go get ready.
I await your orders.
I'll call you when I'm near the Zenith lab. We'll get what you need for that new arm of yours.
Thank you, Aloy.
Oh, God. I want to help him out. We gotta help him out. Right? We have to. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I really want to. So, because I know I gotta go to Gemini. Omega clearance secured. Gaia should be able to subdue and capture Hephaestus at Cauldron Gemini. Aloy must prepare for the mission. kind of want to do this one first. I know it's like so out of the way. But I want to do that one before we go to Gemini. I don't know, something about it just like helping out Kotallo, especially because he wants to do it probably before the fight.
Place looks nice with some green in it.
Because I know, once we really get going, once we really get going on this mission, it's gonna be a lot.
I think it looks nice.
So, okay, seriously, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. We're gonna pick up here on the next episode. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I know, I didn't expect it to be the entire episode of just talking to everybody. I didn't think it was gonna take that long. I like everything we learned though.
Gonna pile up.
Like we learned so much, and it was great. So for real, stick around for the next episode. We're gonna pick up. We're gonna go help Kotallo. Maybe see if we can figure out. Maybe we can help him get a new arm. That'd be awesome for him, because he's really beating himself up over it. You know, so see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.